Hey everyone, I want to show you how to use my daily fantasy baseball lineup optimizer and spreadsheet tool. So the first thing you want to do when you get in, you want to make sure you have Solver. If you don't know if you have Solver installed, you have to you got to check in your add-ins. So what you do, you go up to File, Options, Add-ins, and check your add-ins. If there it is, Solver add-in is checked. If not, you need to check it. Next step is you want to log in. So you want to put your username and password that I send you. Put in here and you click refresh logins. You only have to refresh logins the first time you use the tool. After that, as long as you keep username and password in here, you don't have to keep pressing it. Next thing, what you want to do every morning or whenever you get onto the spreadsheet, you want to refresh today's data. I'm not going to press this now because it takes about a minute or two to refresh everything because it's pulling from many different sources. But then it's going to pull in all the pitcher stats, batter stats, weather, and everything, and throw them onto these tabs here, like the pitcher stats, the batter stats, umpires, so on. So you can press that, it's going to refresh it. One thing you want to be sure is you don't have any filters on the batters or pitcher tabs. If you do, it's going to give you an error. So you want to make sure you take the filters off. So you can refresh today's data in the morning. I've also got a button here to refresh the lineups. That's because if you run it in the morning, there are not going to be any lineups in there. If you run it closer to game time, the lineups will be out, the odds might be updated, weather could be updated, and so on. So say if it's an hour or two from game time, you can press this, and when you go to the batter tab, you can see here in the lineup, and if there's a number, that's where in the lineup they're batting. If it's a blank, then they're not in the lineup today. So once you refresh the day's data, you can review all the data. So we got the pitcher stats. You can go through, basically what this is, it's just all the stats from many different sources combined into one nice file for you to do your research. It's got the FanDuel, DraftKings stats. It's got your odds here. You got our projections, which I'll go over in a minute. It's got season stats, last 14 days of stats, like your stats home and away, your opponent stats, how they bat, the stadium stats, many different Woba, BABIP, strikeout stats, and so on. Last year's stats and weather. So there's tons of different categories of stats. We got batters, got the same thing. If you scroll through, there's probably almost 100 categories of stats, all pulled into one here. So you can go through that. And there's also umpire stats. You can review for each game that we've got here. Like here's the Washington Philly game. It's got the pitchers, got your weather info, get the odds. So it's kind of an overview of the game here and what umps are pitching are playing, and their stats throughout the year. And this rank is just out of all the umpires there. So there's about 100 or so umpires. So this guy ranks 6th in slugging percentage. So the guys seem to be hit pretty good when he's an ump. And it's also got 2014 stats. So if you look at ump stats, this is something that'll help you. So once you have you go through your stats and you're ready to run some lineups, you can transfer your projections, or transfer our projections, or you can copy yours right in. So what I would do, when you're gonna transfer them, you can limit which ones you want to transfer. So like if you want to play all the games, this is the column that tells yes or no. It's gonna which games are going to be transferred to your lineup optimizer sheets. So in here, like I'm just playing the late games, so I put no for all these games. I just want to transfer these last 4 games, so I'm just playing these late games. And you can also, if you want to include only the players in the starting lineup, you can put yes. If not, then you just put no. Once you transfer the projections, it's going to go over here to the lineups tab. It's got all your players, it's got your FanDuel and DraftKings stats, positions, where in the lineup they are, pitchers I set at 9, and you can exclude or exclude different players. So you can clear them, you can exclude all, you can exclude those who aren't in today's lineup, or just delete whoever you want. You can also include, but include means they will be definitely in all your lineups. So if you leave them unchecked with nothing, then Solver's just going to look at the ones that you have unchecked. But you want to make sure, like, if you leave these blank, like there's probably no, doesn't look like there's a second baseman in here, so Solver's going to give you an error because there's no second baseman. So you got to make sure you have enough people in the pool for Solver to look at. And so here's the multi-lineup tab. You can run anywhere between 1 and 200 lineups, but they take about 6 or 7 seconds per lineup. So be aware if you run 100 lineups to leave and come back like 10 minutes later. Here's the scoring variance just between the different lineups with the between score 1 and score 2 and score 3, and so on. I'll go through each of the tabs better in individual videos for each one, but this is just kind of an overview. You can pick which site you want, then you click run, it'll run the optimizer, and it'll take you to your lineups tab, and it'll show you all the lineups. See, like here's the lineup for these 4 players. This one's 130.56, lineup 2 is 130.1, lineup 3, 129.58, and so on. It'll go as many lineups as you want. You can also run a stacked lineup if you want to run here. Like say you're stacking some teams, you can put 4 San Francisco guys, say 1 Oakland guy, and you can run 1 or 5 weighted lineups. Here I just ran 1 lineup. If you go through here, see there's 1, 2, 3, 4 San Fran guys, and there's 1 Oakland guy. And you can run 5 lineups. It'll do the same way as the other one. It'll give you a score, and then it'll just keep working its way down and give you more of them. Next tab is the projection tab. What this is just tells you how we do our projections and how you can create your own projections so they're unique to anyone else. Basically what we do, we take their season average of points, say they average 4 points a game, and then it's going to add or subtract different percentages based on how they're doing, like how's their Woba in the last 7 games, how's their OPS, whether they're playing home or away, or versus lefty or righty. If they're in a big stadium, one of the top 5 scoring stadiums, will increase by 12%. Say they're playing in Colorado, and you expect scoring to be higher. If they had a 4 season average, you're going to add 12% according to our projections, which is about another half point. So now the projection is about 4.5, and it does it for each one. And the same thing for pitchers. The different stats, and you can change yours up so they're different from ours, and so on. There's a leader tab, which just kind of tells you who the top plays are of the day. Here's the best Woba for the last 7 games. Here's the best Woba versus lefty or righties that are playing today, and like who they're going against. And here's just like our top projections for the day. It looks like Goldschmidt's the highest projection, and here's his salary. Looks like Zobrist's a good play. He's only 3,400 on FanDuel. And I also have a help tab, which kind of summarizes everything here. So that's about it. I'm creating a video on each individual tab, each of the 3 main sections, to help you more. And if you ever get questions, just feel free to email me. I'm always around. Thanks. Bye.